Greetings, fellow Whovians, and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. As you know, it was announced earlier this year that Jodie Whittaker is going to leave Doctor Who in autumn of 2022. But what was a little bit more surprising was that Chris Chibnall, the current showrunner for Doctor Who, is also leaving at the same time. Whilst there's been a lot of speculation on who the next Doctor should be, there's been a lot more focus on who should continue the legacy that is Doctor Who. So today I'm going to look at some of the rumoured names and ask who should be the next Doctor Who showrunner. I'll start with the name that was mentioned very early on in the rumours, which is former Babylon 5 creator J. Michael Straczynski. Now, there are rumours out there that the BBC has held some form of talks with J. Michael, which has kind of divided the Whovian community, maybe because of the last time we've had an American production or joint production. We got the Doctor Who TV movie with Paul McGann, and that didn't quite go to plan. To be fair, there were some mitigating circumstances around the TV movie. I think there was just too many people in that piece of the pie that made things a little bit messy. So for me, I wouldn't mind an American writer, or at the very least, have some guest writers for Doctor Who, just to sort of get that feel and just keep it sort of that British quirkiness, because I think going across the pond and Americanize it just might run the risk of losing the heart of the show. So I will definitely have some guest writers, like the names that have also been mentioned, like Ronald D. Moore, who helped with Star Trek DS9, which is one of my favourites, and the revamped Battlestar Galactica series, and Jane Eppenson, who has wrote in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Game of Thrones, and of course part of Torchwood season 4. So he's, already we've got a little bit of a connection with Doctor Who. So I would definitely have more American guest writers, maybe not an American showrunner just yet. The latest name drop in these rumours is Sally Wainwright, which I could get on board with, to be honest. If you don't know, Sally has wrote, amongst other things, Happy Valley, which was a great piece of drama for the BBC. If you haven't seen it before, I do recommend that you check it out. She can definitely write strong female characters. So if the BBC were planning on looking for maybe another female to regenerate, another female Doctor to regenerate, I would think they will be in safe hands with Sally. Now, I know obviously she's not really got much background in Doctor Who, but with the pedigree that she has, it would be a very interesting look at going into a different direction for Doctor Who. One name that always gets bantered around when we're talking about showrunners is Mark Gatiss, who has wrote quite a few episodes for modern Doctor Who, and of course has wrote for Sherlock alongside Stephen Moffat. I would love to see Mark Gatiss be a showrunner for Doctor Who. I think he'll do a great job. He's a massive fan of Doctor Who, and you can still see that passion in his work. And that kind of links me to Big Finish as well. Nicholas Briggs would be a great shout out on there as well, amongst all the other writers for Big Finish. So to have, how well they can write for established characters and established doctors, and of course the Daleks. So to see them have the keys to the modern world of Doctor Who would be quite interesting to see, and something I think quite a lot of people would be excited for. Another big rumour is that the BBC are looking to go perhaps back to the past with either Stephen Moffat or most likely Russell T Davies, following his most recent success with It's a Sin, and of course pretty much the creator for modern Doctor Who. This has been rumoured many times before, even in classic Doctor Who. I remember as part of the sort of the 80s crisis between the 6th and 7th Doctor, there was thinking perhaps maybe bring back Sidney Newman or Verity Lambert to produce. So you can see where these rumours can quite easily circulate. And as much as I would like to definitely see Russell T Davies or Stephen Moffat return to maybe guest write for Doctor Who, I think really the show is about progression and moving forward and changing directions. Maybe for a year or two, maybe to go back to its roots for Doctor Who. I can imagine sort of just going back to the more sort of light-hearted, sort of longer story arcs instead of going into the more sort of heavy, detailed sort of story arcs that we have seen in most recent years. I can see why Russell T or Stephen Moffat could come back, but for me, I would rather have someone new, or at least sort of go forward, someone that hasn't done that before or had the keys to the TARDIS before. So back to my question, who should be the next Doctor Who showrunner? To be honest, I'll be quite happy for anyone. I'll be quite happy for a surprise name. To be honest, it more or less rings true. It normally sort of works itself out at the end. We should learn that by now in terms of when we always have a new Doctor. There's always a bit of a backlash, but there's always a surprise element to it, and there's always that actually that was a good idea. Time will tell. It always does. But if I really, really had to pick right now, I would quite happily see Mark Gatiss, or maybe just like a three-way collaboration between Mark Gatiss, Nicholas Briggs, and Neil Gaiman. Now, I know Neil has kind of ruled himself out of the running because basically he's definitely too busy. But to have a trio of writers, especially with sort of Neil Gaiman maybe part-time in that, I think it could work quite well. I don't know in terms of how it would work as an overall sort of story arc, because they all have different ideas and want to go into different directions, but I think they could all work quite well together, especially with the latest rumours of Michael Sheen being odds-on favourite according to one of the bookies. Obviously, the collaborations between Michael and Neil with Good Omens, they could always work. That's who I would like to see, really. I think having a bit of a past, present, and future, it fits quite well for Doctor Who in my eyes. Most importantly, what do you think? Please let me know in the comments below your thoughts on who should be the next Doctor Who showrunner. Do you agree with my opinion, or do you have a name of your own that I've not even mentioned in this video? All opinions are welcome. Next time on Timey Wimey Review, it will be my very first audio review in the form of the Big Finish production Terra Firma from the 8th Doctor era. Until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and I hope you check out some of my other reviews on the YouTube channel. So please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And as the good doctor once said, who knows, eh? Who